If you're a landlord or property manager, then you will likely come across a tenant whose lease is set to expire. In this video, we talk about the right way of how to handle a lease renewal so that you can limit your turnover and avoid having any lapse in payments. Let's dive right in. Roll intro. What's going on, everyone? Steven from the Vargas team here again, and welcome to another segment of Property Management powered by our sister company, Confidant Property Management. If this is your first time here and you want to learn all things property management and other real estate related information, well then start now by subscribing and clicking that bell icon to stay up to date with our weekly real estate videos. Any good landlord and property manager knows that turnover is one of the biggest expenses that we face as property owners. The good news, of course, is that vacancy is what is considered to be a controllable expense. And so if you're intentional about limiting your turnover, then you can achieve some fantastic results, which just equate to more money in your investment's bottom line. Okay, so here's the scenario. You have a tenant whose lease is set to expire in the near future, and ultimately, you know that keeping a good tenant in place is the best solution. However, the question is, how do you approach your tenant about renewing without seeming too pushy or aggressive? What you don't want to do is just wait right before the lease is set to expire to notify your tenant of the renewal and try to get it done as quickly as possible, because again, that may come off a bit aggressive and inconsiderate. On the other hand, you don't want to play defense either and wait for the tenant to notify you. I've seen some owners take their tenant's word that they will be renewing only to come and find out last minute that this is not the case, and the owner is left scrambling to fill a vacancy, leaving them with a lapse in rent payment until they find somebody else. This will undoubtedly increase their vacancy rate and lower their overall return, and this is not a position that you want to be in. So here's how we handle our renewals with our tenants. First, understand that like any relationship of any kind, communication is key. So you want to reach out to your tenant about 90 days before the lease is set to expire. And yes, you heard me right. I did say 90 days. You can trust me, I'm a professional. Now, it is important that when you reach out, you do this via email. The reason for this is that you want a paper trail of the conversations that you're going to have, along with a time history of when those conversations took place. This is going to serve as a notice to your tenant that their lease is set to expire, and you want to make sure you include the exact date of their lease expiration, which of course at this point is going to be around 90 days from the day you send this email. Here's where things become interesting. The email should be an attached letter, which in it will include 3 different rental rates, giving your tenant the ability to choose the one that benefits him or her. The first rental rate is their current rate. In other words, what they're currently paying you in rent on a monthly basis. Next to that, you want to include what is called a 5-day promotional rate. This can be the same as their current rate or a small rental increase. Lastly, you want to include a 30-day promotional rate. And this rate is going to be higher than that of the 5-day promotional rate. For example, let's say your tenant is currently paying $1,500 per month. The letter is going to state that the $1,500 is their current rental rate. Next to that, you will add the 5-day promotional rental rate of $1,550 per month. And lastly, next to that, you will add a 30-day promotional rate of $1,600 per month. The basis is very simple. If the tenant so chooses to renew, then you will extend to them a 5-day special promotional rate of $1,550 per month, so long as they notify you within the 5 days of receiving this email. They will do this by signing the document and returning it back to you within those 5 days, of course. Should they choose to wait, then they can always renew at $1,600 within 30 days, which of course is the second option. By giving your tenant the power to choose their own renewal term, it no longer becomes a pushy or aggressive approach. However, it does put you in an offensive position should you ever need to pivot. By adding a deadline along with an incentive, this also promotes a faster response. People always want to feel that they have options. So putting the ball in their court per se is one method that shows your willingness to listen to their needs. Now, a few caveats I wanted to mention before we continue. The 5-day promotional rate should never be higher than that of what the current market rent is at the time of the renewal. Sometimes it may be a 5-day promotional rate to just keep the rent the same because the market does not call for an increase. In any event, it is sometimes better to keep a good tenant in place than it is to push your luck and squeeze out an extra $25 or $50 per month. If you're the type of landlord or property manager that takes good care of their properties, then 9 times out of 10, you will get a quick and fast response using this method. And the good news is you'll be able to lock in a new lease way before the current one expires and virtually eliminate any kind of turnover whatsoever. In the event, however, that your tenant chooses not to renew, the letter should also state that should the 30-day promotional rate expire with no answer, then at that point, the property will be placed back on the market and you will begin to show the property to new prospective tenants. This puts you in a good position as you will have 60 days to market and promote the property, which gives you plenty of time to procure a new tenant so that once again, your vacancy is virtually non-existent. It also puts you and the current tenant on the same page as to the next steps in either scenario so that there are no misunderstandings whatsoever.
Listen, by putting this letter together that has clear and transparent options along with the next steps, you'll be able to reduce the tension and friction between you and the tenant, thus allowing you to do your job, which is to manage your properties as efficiently and professionally as possible.
This technique has proven to be very effective with our tenants and has dramatically increased our renewal rates and reduced our vacancies. It gives us the luxury of time so that we can act accordingly, all while keeping a positive relationship with all of our tenants. I hope this helps you with your properties and your tenant renewals. And for more real estate property management tips and weekly real estate content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash that like button if you found value from the information I shared. And if you didn't find value, well, then let us know in the comment section below. And guys, until next time.